It's the time. Let's open it. All right, so here we are again. Got another box from Circle. We're gonna pop this open. We'll check out all the flavors. This month, we got 4 more black cherry. If you haven't watched the video before, today you find out black cherry is amazing. If you've seen the videos before, then you already know. This flavor tastes like cherry snowball, so check it out. If you don't like super sweet, then do the white cherry. White cherry is just as good. This is much stronger. So got 4 of those. Something a little milder, the strawberry kiwi. It's got a nice sweet flavor to it. Nice strawberry kiwi mix. And these are the Life SIPS. The others were Go SIPS. A little bit of caffeine in them, give you a little bit of a boost for your day. Cherry limeade. Nothing like the Sonic cherry limeades, but really good flavor. Kind of different. Not really sure how to describe it. It's got kind of a little limeade taste to it, but it's definitely a little bit of cherry in there. And then, for the first time, I'm going to try out these sweet tea lemon. So my box, I get 16 every month. And the reason that is because usually every 2 to 3 days I go through one larger bottle. And that way, for the month, I usually go through about 15. 16 kind of covers me into my next subscription in case I decide to push it out a little bit. I do have like 10 flavors left, and I have 16 here. So by the time I order again, I'll probably have 10, maybe a little less. Sometimes I drink a ton of water, so I'll end up going through one in that day, and then the next day I'll change it out for another flavor, probably a couple hours in. But for the most part, I get 2 days out of it, and I'm drinking out of that 32-ounce bottle, which, let me go get it. Got it. So, this is my 32-ounce bottle. As I said, if you've watched videos in the past, you've seen this. I think I've had this since my very first video, because I had this bottle well before Circle, and the lid fit. But you have to have a stainless steel lid, which basically means there's the O-ring inside, and that locks it in so that way it doesn't leak. Some of you have these bottles and you are having a little bit of trouble with it leaking. So here's a little tip. So they told me, go ahead and sit the lid on there, rock that counterclockwise until it just falls into place. So once that falls into place right there, go ahead and put some pressure down on it. Just spin the bottle. Hear that squeaking? That's that O-ring seating on the rim of that bottle. So, you don't have to worry about any leaking. Nothing leaking there. Right now I have cherry limeade in my bottle. And if you were paying close attention, I didn't disassemble this one. Why? I'm actually going to give it a try, and I'm going to go through this entire sip as I normally would before I discovered taking that sleeve off, just because I want to try and give Circle a chance to see what exactly is going on. So, haven't touched the sleeve on the bottom. It's still there. I'm going to go through, I'm going to record every time I fill this up, and then once I get to the point where I'm at about a 9 or a 10, that last fill up, I'm going to see about how many sips before it's actually gone. I get no flavor. And then I'm going to take the sleeve off. I'm going to see how much is in it. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because someone did reach out to me. And at first I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up or not, but I really do want to discuss it because it at least is relevant to the video. Circle doesn't want you disassembling their cartridges, and for good reason. Number one, people are breaking them. As easy as it is to take off this sleeve from the cartridge, you can actually separate the entire bottom section from the top cap. And what happens is, rather than being able to adjust that dial, it separates from the dial, leaving it wide open and spills everywhere. Now that happened to me in my last video, and I actually labeled it things to not try. So that's one problem. The other problem is when they're taking these apart and they're flattening out the bag and they're drinking it, sometimes people are getting air backed up into it, and so after getting all the flavor out, there's a lot of air built up, and then the top's bubbling up. So then you got water coming out of it, and it's not actually helping. So I am going to go back to doing it just like this, and I encourage you to do the same, just because I think that it's going to work out. Not only are they actively working on improving Circle every day, this is the way they designed it for us to use, and I'm going to at least continue to try it and see if I can get my 4 to 5 fill-ups of this big thing. Sometimes I can get to 6, especially since I took this cover off. So I'm going to document every time I fill this up. I'm going to leave this cap on, and I'm going to continue to drink it. So by the time you see this, you'll see the results. But moving forward, please try not to disassemble it if you absolutely don't need to. Try and get your 6 to 8 fill-ups of the regular bottle, which I do have one here. 6 to 8 fill-ups of this, and then post it in the chat. Post down below in the description. Post it on the Circle Fans group. Let me know what happens. I know that a lot of people are now saying taking it apart actually works. It's helping them get all the flavor out. But maybe it's kind of a placebo, because yeah, you're seeing it with your own eyes when you open the lid and you say, yep, I got all the flavor out, it's improving. But how do you know 100% that maybe just the one that you threw out had flavor left over and all the other ones really didn't have flavor left? So for the sake of Circle, their staff, and just for the sake of doing things the right way, leave the sleeve on. Give them a chance to address it, since it is out there in the wild. They know that there are SIPs that flavor's not getting used up completely. And then that way, we can just leave these alone, take them out of the bag, give them a try, and then we can enjoy it like it's intended. So that's my video for today. I'm going to go ahead and follow this with fill up of this with the new SIP. I'm going to document every fill up. When it runs out, I'm going to remove it, I'm going to take the sleeve off, and we're going to see if all of the flavor came out or not. So I'm going to do all this, real time. So when I get down to 0, I'm going to take it apart, keep it recording, and then when I separate it, I'm going to squeeze the bag and see if there's anything left. So I encourage you to do the same. Let me know your results down in the comments below. Let me know your comments on the Circle Fans page. And then let me know what flavors you have in your next subscription. So I've got cherry limeade, the sweet tea lemon, which I haven't tried yet, strawberry kiwi, and my favorite, black cherry. So thanks for watching as always, and hopefully I'll have some news from Circle directly, especially about the sleeve, its purpose, about if they're going to improve anything on the flavor being left behind in the bag, and anything else that they give me. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Fill up number 2. Oh no. Looks like I need to change the water. Fill up 1.5. Okay, try this again. Fill up number 2. Third fill up. Number 4. Fill up number 4. Right now I'm on 7. So number 4. And here we are. Fill up number 6. Still going. Still using the sleeve, so we'll see what happens after this one. About 6%. What's up, everybody? So we are at the end of this test, and to recap, basically I went ahead and I left the SIP intact when I opened it, and it's still intact. So we're going to go ahead and take it apart now to see if there's a difference between when I started taking them apart and getting all the flavor out and leaving it alone. I don't know if maybe there was just a run of them that you weren't getting all the flavor out of, and that's when I decided to give a try to something different and then shared that with all of you. But the reason I did this is because someone from Circle reached out and they had some valid concerns about people disassembling the SIPs. considering it's not intended for you to take them apart when they ship them to you. And so I wanted to give it a try and see how many times I could fill this up, leave the cover on, and take it apart live, and that way we can see the results. So even though I can't count very well apparently, I did get 8 fill-ups, or this is the 8th fill-up, and on about halfway point on this bottle. This is a 32-ounce bottle. So in the last 3 days, maybe, I guess 2.5 days, I've gone through 7.5 bottles of water. I started on 7, which I was a little skeptical about, but even though thinking I was starting at 7 and it was going to be a bad idea and maybe I wouldn't get as much out of it, because I usually started around 4 or 5, it actually worked out. 7.5 before it lost all flavor. It is on 10, so you can see that it's on 10. There's no flavor left, and let's go ahead and take it apart. And again, let's not take this apart moving forward. Let's give it a try and see if... See, and that's the main reason why. So if you're taking this apart and you're breaking it, you can't contact Circle and say that there's something wrong with your SIP, you broke your SIP, because it's not their fault. It's not intended to take this apart. So that's basically what's been happening, and people are reaching out to Circle for support. But what I'm doing is carefully removing this plastic sleeve, and as you can see, it's still a little bloated. But that's air. So leaving the sleeve on, I was able to get everything out of it. Which, I'll be honest, it's a surprise. I've been taking mine apart for a few weeks now and getting every sip out of it. Because before, after I got to the point where there was no flavor left, I was ripping it apart and then squeezing the remains into the bottle, thinking that I was getting all of my money's worth. But the way this works is that as you're drinking the water, it adds the flavor to the water you're drinking. So adding this to your entire bottle is cheating yourself, essentially. So there's no gain there. So that's why I started taking them apart. But I think at this point, maybe there was just a bad run. There was a point in time where you had to take them apart because there was something going on, maybe in how they assemble these, and you weren't getting everything out of them. But today is my first trial, and it was a success. So I encourage you to do the same. Don't take it apart. Drink it normally. See how many fill-ups you get. Keep track of it. That way you can make sure you're getting your money's worth. But for me, 7.5 fills of this 32-ounce Hydrocell, I'm content with that. So, all right. If you have anything, put it down in the comments below. I'd love to talk about what your thoughts are about this. I'm going to make sure I share this in all the groups. Make sure you're following on Circle Fans. Make sure that you subscribe, and that way you can watch more videos. You can even turn on the notifications so you know when I do post new videos. And like the video if you liked it. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.